Picture this. You're having a swim in a prehistoric ocean 450 million years ago, enjoying the warm water, when suddenly something grabs you. Not with teeth, not with claws, but with tentacles the size of school buses. You've just met Cameroceras, and mate, this isn't your average squid. This absolute unit was 30 feet long, that's longer than a double-decker bus, and it ruled the seas before sharks even existed. But here's the mental bit. Scientists just discovered that these monsters might have been intelligent, like problem-solving, trap-setting intelligent. And if that doesn't make your skin crawl, wait till you hear what they did to their prey. Right, so imagine a traffic cone, yeah? Now stretch it to 30 feet, give it tentacles that could crush a car, and stick two massive eyes on it that could see in the dark. That's Cameroceras, and it was basically a living torpedo with a taste for everything that moved. These things were the apex predators of their time. And get this, they're related to modern octopuses and squids, except they lived in a massive shell that they used like a submarine. They could control their buoyancy by pumping water in and out of their shells in chambers. Proper clever, innit? But here's where it gets properly terrifying. Those tentacles, each one was covered in suckers, but not like the ones on calamari. These suckers had hooks. Actual hooks made of chitin that could pierce through the armoured shells of their prey. Scientists found fossilised trilobites, those little pill bug looking things, with perfect circular holes punched right through their shells. And the holes matched the size of Cameroceras' hooks exactly. This thing was basically swimming around with grappling hooks for arms. Now you're probably thinking, alright, it's big and scary, but how fast could a giant ice cream cone really move? Well, funny you should ask, because recent fossil evidence suggests these things could jet propel themselves at speeds up to 20 miles per hour. Doesn't sound like much? Try out swimming something the size of a bus in water. These predators would lurk near the seafloor, camouflage despite their size, then blast off like a rocket when prey swam overhead. One fossil actually shows a Cameroceras that died mid-hunt with a half-crushed fish still in its tentacles. Mental! But wait, it gets weirder. Remember I mentioned intelligence? Well, paleontologists studying their brain casings, we can actually see where their brains were in fossils, discovered that Cameroceras had unusually large optic lobes and what appears to be a complex nervous system. Some scientists reckon they might have been as smart as modern octopuses, and if you've seen those videos of octopuses opening jars and escaping from tanks, you know that's properly concerning. Imagine that intelligence in a 30-foot predator. Here's the really mad part though. These things didn't just hunt alone. Fossil sites in Morocco and Canada show multiple Cameroceras shells clustered together, all facing the same direction. Some researchers think they might have hunted in packs, using coordinated attacks to take down prey much larger than any single individual could handle. Picture a wolf pack, but underwater, 30 feet long each, with tentacles. Sweet dreams, yeah? And the way they ate, absolutely horrifying. They had a beak like a parrot, but imagine it the size of a basketball and strong enough to crack open armoured shells like wheat cracked peanuts. They'd grab prey with their hooked tentacles, pull it towards their beak, and then crunch. But they were also patient hunters. One fossil shows scratch marks on a cave wall where a Cameroceras apparently waited, scraping its shell against the rock for so long it left grooves. It was setting an ambush. Now here's a thought that'll keep you up at night. What if these things hadn't gone extinct? What if they'd survived and evolved for another 450 million years? Modern giant squids are already terrifying enough, and they're basically the wimpy descendants of creatures like Cameroceras. Imagine London's Thames, but with 30-foot intelligent predators lurking under Tower Bridge. You'd need a bigger boat, as they say. The extinction of Cameroceras is actually a bit of a mystery. They ruled the oceans for millions of years, then just vanished. Some scientists think rising sea temperatures made their shells too heavy to maintain buoyancy. Others reckon new predators evolved that could crack their shells. But the newest theory, they might have been too successful. They ate everything, depleted their food sources, and basically hunted themselves into extinction. Bit of a warning there, innit? Just last year, a team in Australia found a Cameroceras fossil with something incredible: soft tissue preservation. We're talking about fossilised tentacles with the suckers still visible, even traces of what might be pigment cells. This thing might have been able to change colour like modern cephalopods. Imagine a bus-sized predator that could turn invisible. The ocean was basically a horror movie. But here's the kicker. Cameroceras wasn't even the biggest. Its cousin, Endoceras, could grow up to 40 feet. These things were so massive that when they died and their shells fossilized, other creatures used them as homes. We found fossils of entire ecosystems living inside dead Endoceras shells. It's like finding a block of flats, but the building itself was once a living predator. You know what's proper mad? These creatures are why we have natural gas. When Cameroceras and its mates died, they'd sink to the ocean floor. Millions of them over millions of years getting buried under sediment. All that organic matter eventually turned into petroleum deposits. So next time you fill up your car, you're basically putting liquefied sea monster in your tank. How's that for fossil fuel? If Cameroceras existed today, the ocean would be a completely different place. Forget shark attacks, we'd have tentacled nightmares that could think their way through boat holes. Navy submarines would have to worry about 30-foot predators mistaking them for rival Cameroceras. Beach holidays would involve checking for bus-sized shells before going for a paddle. Scientists reckon we've only found about 10% of all Cameroceras species that ever existed. That means there were dozens, maybe hundreds of variations of these monsters we haven't even discovered yet. Some might have been smaller and faster, others might have been even bigger. There's a fragmentary fossil from China that might be from a 50-foot specimen, but it's too broken to be sure.
The funny thing is, Cameroceras was actually quite beautiful in its own terrifying way. Those shells weren't just plain cones, they had intricate patterns, ridges, and possibly even bright colours. Some fossils show traces of what might have been iridescent nacre, like mother of pearl. Imagine a 30-foot rainbow torpedo with tentacles. Nature's always been a bit extra, hasn't it? So next time you're at the beach and something brushes your leg, just remember, you're lucky it's 2025 and not 450 million years ago. Back then, that brush might have been followed by hooked tentacles and a beak that could bite through steel. We live in an age of relatively tiny sea creatures, and honestly, that's probably for the best. Though it does make you wonder, in the deepest parts of the ocean, in places we've never explored, could something like Cameroceras still be lurking? After all, we thought coelacanths were extinct for 66 million years until someone caught one in 1938. Makes you think, doesn't it? We worry about aliens from outer space, but the real aliens lived right here on Earth, ruling our oceans for millions of years. They were intelligent, massive, and absolutely lethal. And the only reason we're here today is because they went extinct first. So here's a question for you. If you could bring back one extinct creature for a day, just to see it in action, would you dare choose Cameroceras, or would you play it safe with something that couldn't drag you into the depths? Let me know in the comments, if you're brave enough.